Namaste everyone. Very, very nice to see you all. Very, very nice. Anyone want to talk also? You can talk. Yeah, Ekta, you want to talk?
Mr. 11? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
You had said something very, something which I am seeing myself, observing, where, you had said something to the effect that, at any moment of time, I am doing so many things, but you said, it's the doer itself, that is, that in this search of, seeking, in this search for myself, it's my doer I feel which is, not streamlined or not single pointed. And I can see myself in this sort of sleep. Yes, there is a lot of activity. So I can sense, that when I'm sitting, there is a little, just say, I hope I'm able, I can sense that this being who's searching for oneself itself, there is a split here. And then there is also a psychological sleep. And I want to wake up at even that level, so, and the more I'm kind of seeing this, it's like I stop myself and I'm like, I was asleep, this previous minute I was asleep. And, it is just, if you can say something or if you can see something together where I want to have this integration over there and break this sleep which I'm seeing myself in. So can we see this together where this sleep that I'm seeing, that I feel more that I'm present and totally integrated in this.
What I have understood from your sharing is that it is as if you are not a balanced and integrated or composed doer, thinker, in life. And you want to be more integrated in a way, you are saying like this, no?
Yes, Lalit.
But here, one thing that has to be understood is that by habit, we are using thinking, like we are thinking more to refine our ability of thinking also. Or we are trying to think more to become a more stable thinker also. We are trying to do more to become a more stable and integrated doer also. You know, and that works actually up to some degree, but only up to some degree. Now that you know the awareness is waking up in you. What basically awareness is, the self-awareness is waking up in you. Know, we are able to experience or sense our existence, our own self, then that awareness is a different awareness. It's a very neutral and holistic awareness, you know, which is able to expose many things like which you are able to notice now. No? That hey, something is kind of not okay. Something is not stitched well. Yeah. So for that, a different approach is necessary now. Meaning, the extent or the speed of change that you want is more than the usual way of fixing things is can give you. No, like thinking more to become a better thinker, doing more to become a better doer. Now you want more correction, faster correction now. No, and for that you need you. I would say that you should learn to sit in yourself. No? Why? Because the doer is the non-doer also. The thinker is a non-thinker also. The doer has never been living as a non-doer for a long time. The thinker has never been living as a non-thinker for a long time also. No? Maybe I give you an example that you are thinking about something, then you have finished thinking about something now. No? The mind field will still contain thoughts and they will continue moving. Some correction, some maintenance, internal maintenance will continue there. But you are done with thinking now, no? When you are done with thinking, what do you do? You start thinking another thing, no? No, that's not really the non-thinker state of the being that you are. No, that is the time to just sit and not think. You know, this is that core meditation you can learn. Core meditation is not really some kind of practice. It is much more a understanding. This being that I am is trying to communicate to the being that you are. No, this is your way. This is your original way. No, this is your original gift that we have got from the source. We have a gift. No, we are the gift also. Our existence is the gift also. But we have got some internal, abilities. That ability, one of the ability is to not do anything. And we have completely forgotten that. That's why we feel that I have to think all the time. I am finished thinking about this topic, now let me think about another. Because what else I can do? So being aware that I can actually sit without doing anything or without thinking anything is like a breakthrough. No? So would you like to start it right now?
Yes, see.
So start right now. Right now, make it clear to yourself inside that right now I am not going to think about anything. Meaning I have no conscious decision. I have not made any conscious decision to think about anything. So that's why it makes no sense for me to be involved with the energy of thinking. So now the thinking is energy only, not that there are thoughts. Thoughts are only thoughts when we are interested in them or when we have some use of them to evaluate that which thought is useful for me and which not. But right now they are like one energy, okay? So all the thoughts are one energy and thought energy, thinking energy. And I'm not interested in thinking. I'm interested in something else. That something else is experiencing my own existence while not doing anything with the thinking or with any other form of doing. No? So we are learning this non-doing and non-thinking, and we are learning this core meditation right now, while actually we are doing it also together. Okay. So continue doing it and continue listening a little bit, and that will help you. But it is an understanding. Remember, don't try to freeze yourself. Don't try to put yourself in some kind of deep state of meditation. That cannot be done in that way. Allow yourself to come to your natural state, true state. And that true state is not opposite of thinking in one sense. Although it may look like that I'm not thinking, meaning I'm just resting. When you are not thinking, when you are a non-thinker, it's not really opposite of the thinker state. It is just being free from it. Feel it right now. So the being state basically is, our natural state is just being free from all the other states. That's all. But it's not exact opposite of them. Because there is no opposite of our true state. There is no opposite of our true state. There is no comparison. There is no parallel of our true state. So we are just coming to our true state now through non-doing, non-thinking. Non-doing and non-thinking is a more relatable term. That's why we are using it right now. So thinking energy is there, and the doing energy is there. I can any moment use it to do something or to think. But right now I'm not doing anything, I'm not thinking anything. And internally there is a habit. Let us be very, very clear about it and very aware of it. There is a habit of either trying to do something or trying to think something in one way or the other. Let us be aware of it, and let us simply consciously, but in a relaxed manner, let go of this habit right now. And whenever there is a feeling to do something, let us focus on ourselves and let us feel our existence. So let us change our doing or our impulse to think anything or do anything. Let us use it to feel our own existence right now. So let us be very busy in not doing anything about anything else. And let us be very busy in doing everything with ourselves only right now. And what we are doing? We are just feeling our existence. We are trying to be clear about our existence also, not just feeling. No, clear in the sense of not thinking, clear in the sense of really living the truth of who we are. And this is an amazing experience that the thought energy is there, but I'm not caught up in it. The energy of doing is there, but I'm not caught up in it. Like, this is the first taste of freedom into the being. The first taste of freedom is freedom from compulsion, compulsion to do or to think. And not that you will not think when necessary, you will so much better think than when necessary. But right now, you have decided to not think. Nobody is forcing you to not think. You have yourself decided to not think about anything or do anything about anything. But this is not the time to sleep. This is not the time to rest also. Remember, this is not a resting time. It's a very alert time, like you are supremely alert in yourself. Like so still, like as if you are standing on the tip of a needle right now. You cannot feel sleepy, or can you? It's not a relaxed meditative state right now. Remember that. You are standing on a razor's edge right now. You cannot feel laziness or sleep right now, or can you? The razor is awareness, self-awareness. You are standing on self-awareness right now. You are, I am self-aware. I am aware that I am, and not doing anything else with anything else, and doing everything with my existence and what I can do with my existence, except being aware. And this being aware is a lot of doing. Let us do whole of this doing, which is not a doing, no? So that we don't have any interest, impulse or energy left to do anything else. Like being fully involved, engaged or consumed in being self-aware right now. So are you able to do this with me right now? Tell me. So this is that method through which you can come back to your original center or centeredness, and from here a more integrated thinking, doing and living life will can come, no? Depending on how well we are rooted in ourselves. No? Yes, so I hope I answered your question.
It's yeah, I sense that there is also an ease. There is this there is an effort, yet there is an ease as well, where since the whole being wants to experience this, and it just feels the integration is even there. And I feel when there is a division even in this, that's when it gets, when the interest is there, it is, and now with you, it was like, this is the moment, so I could just be very easily. And when I sense that there is just half attempt, that's when, the sitting becomes, that time the sitting is also like half sitting, it's like half baked. And it's just, thank you.
One thing I want to share here, which will help you, I feel, as a note, because you already said that this half, this like divided is not okay. Yes, this is actually a golden key. Actually, it's a fundamental key. When we are have decided to think, no, about something or do something about something, totally, like totally means present. Totally does not mean aggressively. Totally does not mean overly. Totally does not mean doing too much about something where we needed to do little bit. Not that. Totally means like whole of ourself, undivided self, undivided doer, undivided thinker. No, to be more simple. So when we are undivided thinker, we are actually very peaceful thinker also. We don't feel that heat of thinking, which generally we feel. When we are an undivided doer, also we are very joyful, happy doer also. We don't feel that tiredness of doing also. And when we are a undivided non-doer and non-thinker, we cannot imagine the joy of it. No? So what has happened, Deva? There are two aspects of ourself. One is energy, one is self. No, self basically can be called awareness, self, witnessing self. No, energy can be called the life that we live. No? Everything of the life is lived through energy. No, no energy, no life. Less energy, less life. More energy, more life. No? Do you see my point? But the witnessing self, the self that we are, the real that we are, the one who is living in this life, somehow gets identified with the energy aspect. And it starts taking itself as the energy. During this time, energy has not lost its nature. It is still doing exactly what it does. But the self is not living its nature, and it is not doing or not doing what it is supposed to not do. So because of that identification, because of that false oneness of the self with the energy, a false state of the self comes out of it as a result, as a byproduct. That is false self. That is the false self. And that false self is always divided in everything that it does. No? Because that in that false self, it is only the self. No, there is nobody else. So it is the self only in that false self state where it is trying to live itself as itself and energy as energy. And it is neither able to live itself as itself nor energy as energy. That's why the dividedness. No? That's why the suffering also. Like as if something is not complete, as if I'm not fulfilled, as if, there is incompletion or something. No? So for that, there are two approaches fundamentally used. One is that if you, the doer, whoever you are, you don't know yet. Like we don't know who I am, but if we know that I am and I am the doer, no. If the doer that you are can be more involved, can be more present in doing what you are doing, can spend yourself more in doing what you are doing, then you will get out of the false state. And we think that if I get involved with the energy too much, I will be lost. Not really. Right now we are lost. So in the false state, we feel I will lose myself. But that's false self. How can we lose it? True self cannot be lost in energy. False self is not there to be lost. What is the fear? Fear is because of misunderstanding. No? So that's why anybody who approaches this what we call totality, another approach, one approach, no? They try to be more involved in what they are doing, and somehow they are able to get out of the false self state or ego state into what? In the totality, like as much total we are, that much we are out of the false self state, and that much you are in the true state, and you are meeting the energy as it actually is. No? The edginess of energies. We are meeting the edginess of energies while we are living the edginess of who we are also. No? So we have got out of the false self state into the true self state, isn't it? One approach. Another approach is that, okay, doing maybe I'm concerned that maybe I will get involved, and there is a possibility if it is not done well, no? If it is not done consciously, like from the stillness. Then let us approach another thing called core meditation, not doing anything. The self can survive in not doing anything. The false self cannot. That's why when we have too much attachment to the false self state, we cannot do this not doing anything. That's why it is so difficult to not do anything. It is not difficult in itself. It is our nature. How our nature can be difficult? It is the supreme joy, supreme bliss. Even just for 1 second, not doing anything is so deeply blissful. Like every time, some kind of bubble burst inside you, like of the bliss, of the joy, again and again and again. So this was some side note I wanted to share with you. I feel it will help you in some way in achieving this integrity and truthfulness of yourself and energies. Because this is how we can live as ourselves, the true self, and that's how we can live a true life. Life means energy, no? Without energy, no life, no? Life is nothing but flow of energy, no? Yes. So it is clear. I hope it is not. If anything not clear, please you can ask.
Yes, it's very clear. It's very clear.
How?
Thank you so much.
Very, very good. There was one Urdu poetry I read one time. हंसता हूँ अगर जो मैं तो मुझे हंसने नहीं देते रोता हूँ तो कहते हैं अंदाज गलत है when I try to laugh then they don't let me laugh and when I cry they say your way of crying is wrong. This is the state of ego. No, this is the state of false self, not living anything, neither laughing nor crying, not living basically. No? We think that what I'm doing is not complete. There's a big deception. Like we are not contented with anything that we do, isn't it? Generally. And we think that if something can be changed about this doing, I'll be so happy. Not really. It's not about the doings, it's about the doer. The doer is not complete. And if doer is complete, and even if it is not doing anything at all, it is going to feel so, so joyful. It does feel so joyful in even not doing anything. And it feels joyful in doing anything also. Because the joy does not come from the doings or non-doing. Joy comes from the undivided self that we are. No? Yeah? Like this. Ego's state is correctly called the false self state, in which neither we are living the truth of who we are, nor we are living the life of energies, no? Energy flow or flow of life. No? So, yes, yes. Thank you. Deva, you want to talk?
Namaste, Rajee. So, on the same lines of on doership and the non-doer or the act of totality, like you spoke about, I'm like the way I see so far the spiritual search, it seems to be as if there was always doing, even if it meant seeking ourselves. It was an action. Seeking. It was an action. It was a doing, and there was a lot of research as to how to find out. Like all this was doing, and now, as you were speaking about getting into any activity of the energy with totality, and when you are done with it, naturally the two things become clear, or when you are total, the two things become clear: the self and the doer, like the energy. Those two become clear. So the way I hear it now, because this, it has become very clear that um, that's seeking is not, the seeker has to go also in this process of awakening, or it is called awakening, but so
You are saying that
the way I
it is
heard
not.
this,
Are you saying that it is not necessary for the seeker to go through all this, or it is necessary?
um,
Because I'm not able to hear certain words well, so that's why.
acha, okay, no, the seeking, I feel it was necessary because to understand this thing of what is false, the seeking was necessary. It was necessary, but like everything else, it became a habit also, and that has to be undone. And it takes it's like that energy has taken off, and it is taking time for it to stop, like to give up the seeking also. And now, as you were speaking to Ekta about how it is the non-doing and just resting in the self, it feels as if we have forgotten, when we say we have forgotten our original nature, is it seems as if, we have forgotten how not to do, or how not to be the doer, and the art of living. Basically, we have forgotten the simple art of living, where, so to me, this awakening, and I want to confirm this because recent times I've been feeling this, that awakening is basically the art of the learning, the art of living, uh, how to live, or understanding the language of life. And I want to confirm this, that I'm not losing direction here again, going into some mind stream. And I want your, if I want your guidance on this. Is this the right direction, or am I again going somewhere else?
Uh, can I say now?
Yeah, Rajee.
Uh, uh, the fundamental truth, as far as fundamental truth is concerned, you are right. That we are learning to live life. No, we are learning to live. We are learning to live basically means what? And I will go in detail of it. But before that, I want to clearly tell you that learning to live, meaning learning from life who we are. No, but that's what all of us are doing anyway as a person. No, but is this helping? It is not actually. No, something else needs to be done. No? So this is where I would like to differ, that fundamentally true, and I will explain what I see in it, that we are learning to live, but not really the way we were learning so far, this life. No? So we are learning to live, but differently. What is the difference? A different life, different type of life, different activities in life? No, different self who is living. No? Meaning the self is more waking up towards who I am than knowing more what life is. No? Because the life, knowledge of the life is limited to the knower or its capacity. When we are living as the false self, our capacity of knowing about life is very limited. No? Only when we start living as who we are, the truth, then only we can more deeply start knowing what life is. So that's why, yes, learning to live life, but no. Then let's make it more simple and clear that learning to live who we are is primary. Learning and living life is secondary now here. It is just the focus that I'm talking about. Not that the truth are two. And this is where what I wanted to share in the beginning is that the life that we are living and who we are, who is living this life, are not two things. They are not two things. We are our life. The more we want to express ourselves, expand ourselves through those expressions, actions, and expressions and interactions, the more we can. Other peoples also are contributing to the pool, and we are living some collective pool effect also of the life also. But essentially, if you see, let's focus on ourselves only and not on the whole of life. Who I am, who are you, and what is life in relation to you? Is it not exactly one and the same thing, that the self that you are and the energy, no? Energy being lived, individual, energy being lived by the self. This self that you are, who is living the individual energy, are you the self individual or not? This also we should ask. No? Because this self which you are, who is living in the individual energy, is not really different self. It's the real self, the true self. Is the true self in you a individual self? And we must find out. Let's not label something quickly that, oh, it is the individual self or it is the universal self. Let us experientially find out. So what I'm trying to say here is that living of life basically depends on who is living it. The truer the self, the truer the life being lived also, isn't it? Like more deeply, that the true life, like basically true life is not a thing. Life is always true. It is about truly living it or thinking about it only. No? As a false self, we keep thinking about life. We don't live it. As the true self, we dare to actually feel this moment, feel the body, and feel the breath. Body and breath is life right now, by the way, or not? Is body and breath not life? So, starting to live life while not doing too many things, so that we can actually start feeling that I am living as myself right now. So, living as the self that we are, feeling ourselves, while feeling the body and the breath. Yes. So in this case, the focus is on the self that we are, not the body. Like we are not trying to know what is body or the breath. We are just acknowledging that it is there. Like body and breath is something which is moving, which is something continuously maintaining itself and changing and growing. No? That's what is energy, life. So life is so close to us. Body and breath is life, no? Or not? Or are we talking about the life that we think exists in the mind? In the story, personal story. Are we talking about that life? Obviously not, no? We are talking about real life, no? Not the life that we imagine we have, but the life that we really have. Or we are that life. Is this understood or not?
Yeah, Rajee, I feel the moment when you said that living the body and living the breath, this is like, and I, uh, what I find myself often getting, like it feels as if there is a backward movement out of momentum of habit, is this getting back into the loop of habitual searching for who I am. And I keep bringing myself back into this body and breath.
Yes.
And knowing the fact that I am. But that momentum doesn't seem to go. So that was my original question when I raised my hand earlier, is that how does one, like, right now as I speak to you, I can feel all. I can feel the body, the breath, and my presence all at one time. But when I am doing this on my own, I find this, that the seeking habit comes. And so if I can get some pointer to this as to how to drop that, you said drop when you are not interested in the outward flow, naturally you turn inwards. And well, that happens, and then this relentless seeking business also kicks in. So how to now give that away is my real
Being
question.
how if you will become more conscious, uh, if you become more conscious, meaning more present in that relentless seeking, you will be able to see that what do you get in it or what you don't. You know. So the first thing that will happen is that, like, you will get disillusioned from it, that I don't get anything in it. And in the same way, become more conscious or present when you are present in yourself as yourself. Then you will also be able to see and feel clearly what do you get when you live as yourself. And that is going to end your habit of being identified with that mind process which is still seeking. No. Mind process is like this. Let us try to understand a little bit that mind process contains many things, and it naturally tries to bring things to clarity as much as it can. It tries to connect dots also as much as it can. So even if when we have started knowing who we are, that mind process will try to refine itself as much as it can, even then. But it doesn't mean that it is your need now to know who you are. And as it will become clear to you, you will feel that's all right. Let the mind process continue refining itself. Meaning it is trying to, let's say, mind is that aspect of ourself which is responsible for living as an individual and also mostly as an individual person, in relation to others, a entity. So it has to maintain every dialogue, every gesture, every move of you in relation to others as a individual person or self. And it is finding it difficult that you are just sitting and doing nothing. You are the being. How to translate that into the individual language? No. So it is just trying to translate that. No. Seeking part, yes. Totally you can deny that, or you can see that what seeking? I am here. Like, who is seeking what? I don't need to seek anything because I am already found myself. No. But otherwise, there is a correction that happens continuously. And sometimes we may take that as seeking also. So just be alert about it.
Yeah, Rajee, now I feel now I got the right perspective as to what is really going on in the mind, like how the mind is the process that's going on. So now it's very clear.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rajee. It's really helpful.
Yeah, practical tips. Practical tips are valuable gems for those who are actually doing something right now, and they are not such good philosophies for those who are not doing anything about it. No, they're like, okay, maybe. But those who are actually doing something like you feel like, wow, this solves my problem. Actually, like you are able to correlate with it so quickly, immediately. Like, yes, that's true. No, thank you that you are doing something about it. Thank you, Flavor.
Thank you very much, Rajee. There was a light on the spot. Thank you so much.
Many confusions are there. In the mind, there are like mind probably will take some 10,000 years to understand. Our mind, no, individual mind will take some 10,000 years to understand that what is awakening, what is self, and how to live life as self also. But you, the self, don't need even 10 years for it. Probably you don't need even 1 year for it. So you will get adjusted so quickly, hopefully. Provided that we don't mix things here. Many times we are mixing the wisdom of the mind, the previous way, and the new way, and that is where it becomes much more confusing. The self that you are can understand what to do or not to do, and also can understand what is mind. Mind neither can understand what to do or not to do, nor it can understand who you are. If you like, there was some saying, I think, that if you try to understand mind, if you try to understand yourself through the mind, neither you will understand mind nor yourself. If you try to only understand yourself, you will understand yourself also and mind also. Because we think that mind is a separate thing. No, that is the state in which we are, where it looks like separate. We think that life is a separate thing, which I have to understand. First I understand who I am, then I will understand what life. No, then that is the result of being in that state called sleep state, where we feel these things. No? I think it's good. Thank you. Please ask anybody else. Yeah, Nishan.
Namaste. Namaste, Bilber. I would like to have an exploration of how actions happen. Yeah, I think there may be some overlap with what you said right now. I have some travel today, and there were some updates and things that happened, so I had to listen to that. So I missed parts of what you spoke so far. Sorry about that. Yeah. So if some duplication happens, forgive me. So it seems that there are a few ways in which actions can happen. Yeah. So one way is when where we are in the mind, and there are a set of options already over there in some sense, and we utilize some of that and trigger actions that way. Yeah, as a person state, how people, one normally operates as a person like that. Yeah. So here the being comes out of itself, and it's a divided state basically. We are in the mind. There is the impact of emotions and things come into the picture like that. Yeah. The second option seems to be where the being has now where the being remains in itself more, and there is a deliberate, or there is a let's say a deliberate using of the mind that actually happens while still staying as the being. Yeah, I'm kind of dividing things certain way, but I'm trying to communicate something, and you can correct me from there. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and then there seems to be another way where the being remains unmoving, and action more or less happens. Yeah, and we can see this happen. This actions happening. Yeah? And so this is where the view where we've heard this before, that there are no others here. Essentially, the world is happening, and we have this opportunity to see what is going on here, like an observer over here, like that. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
that's how.
is there any particular question or confusion that we can focus on first, or like this?
No confusion as such, but we can explore it and see, where correction needs to happen in this view, or we can look at any particular part of it. I would leave it up to you.
Let us try to begin with the most small unit of it, no? That is doing, no? So let us try to see what exactly is doing, or what all it contains, in terms of trying to identify what element, aspect, or part, or presence of self is there in the doing. Okay, like what is the involvement of the self in the doing? Let's say, let's try to look at it, but in a more practical, simple sense, not philosophically what has been described before, but more freshly looking at it. No? Like right now, you are sitting and talking to me. When I speak, you nod your hand. Yeah, you are right. No, you said like you did. So this is a doing or not? Let's establish this first. Is it a doing or not?
Is it a doing or not? It is an action for sure.
And what is the difference between action and doing for you? Then I would like to ask like that.
deliberately, like you're doing certain things.
Meaning, are you saying that this your head moves without your permission, or without your will, or without your consent? Are you saying that?
Oh, it's not like that. What I feel is, um,
I'm just trying to understand the difference between action and doing.
yes, yeah.
Because I feel you are deliberately doing it, like you want to respond to me that yes, I understood. So then, is it not you doing it?
Yeah, I would say there is a posture to, I mean, inside me, there's a posture to respond to you, and there is an agreement with what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes.
So this physical response came like automatically from that. So it's not like, in some sense, I can deliberately move my hand or my head.
In that way, I
That's what I
understood
meant.
now. Oh yes, yes. So basically, what you are saying is that my body has a certain training to respond to the feeling of agreement with what the speaker is saying. It responds in this way, like this. For example, in some part of India, it responds maybe like this. So in that way, you are saying yes. So
That's
yeah,
right.
so it is true that the body, out of training, is responding in a certain way, and I am acknowledging from inside that yes, it is a correct way of responding. But still, it is within your agreement to it, no? Otherwise, you will correct it. Then, otherwise, you will deliberately change it or not.
Yes, true.
So indirectly, you are still deliberately doing it or not. By letting it happen consciously, you are deliberately doing it. It is equal to that or not.
Yes, true.
So this way, I am saying, is it not your doing?
Yes, it is.
So now, in this very simple talk, so many things got highlighted. The energetic structure, the conditioning or the training of it, that the reflexes are there in the body. It does things like if somebody throws a ball at you, you will be able to save your eyes. These are the reflexes of the hands and the eyes in a way. Or in this way, like, yes, you are right. And then there is a feeling to agree, like, oh yeah, you are right. like a understanding happening inside you. You know, that let's say we call it mind, okay? The wisdom, we call it wisdom. In the wisdom, understanding happening. You are right. Yeah, I agree what you are saying. And then there is third element, yourself. Who is agreeing to it? Yeah, you are right. So body, the wisdom and the self. All three are present here. No? In this one simple action, one simple doing, nodding the head. Just this one. No? We can start with the small units. Or the testing should always be done in the with a very basic simple data. No? So now, the more you become clear about yourself, who you are, the more you will become clear about the wisdom that is in between, what we call natural mind. And the more you will become clear about the body, what it is. Body cannot know what is wisdom. Wisdom can know up to some degree what is body. Wisdom cannot know who you are. You can know what is wisdom. You can know who you are. You can know what is wisdom. You can know what is body also. You can know what is body directly also. You can know what is body through the wisdom also. You know, wisdom in this case is the relative wisdom. Like it includes the detailing of the body also, and the understanding that I'm a male and a female and location and everything also. All details, no? And you can know the same body very directly also. Like without carrying any having any having any idea, pre, preconceived idea about the body, whether it is male or female or body or not. You can have a raw experience of this physical body and breath also from the self that you are. You can do that right now. I am with you right now. Let's do it right now. Because all this truth is immediately available to all of us. There is no process required for it, except that you are ready or not. But this is what it means to put aside your mind for now. So put aside your mind. Put aside your mind means what? Like sink in the depth of your being more. Not depth, sink like merge with the subtlety and purity of your being more right now. Don't go deep in yourself. There is no need to, So don't go deep in yourself. Live the purity of your own being right now. Like as if there is no body, there is no breath right now. And don't go too deep, because otherwise we will not be able to do that thing which we are trying to do, that live the body and breath. So keep your eyes open, not closed for this. And you will not really need to do that thing, because body and breath is actually present. It's just that you never saw it as the self. Now you are seeing it through your own eyes. And this is going to tell you so much about everything. Like first time we are experiencing existence without mind, without thought, basically. So without using thought, we are not experiencing it through the thought. We are experiencing it directly now. This is also a result of a thought or a collection of thoughts. But this itself, what it is, let's live it like this. Even if ultimately by great beings it is called a thought only, but still, are we living it through another thought or are we living it directly? No? This is my point. A thought can be lived through another thought also, or a thought can be lived directly by you also, even if this is a thought, let's say. But actually only when we are directly living this body, those beings, great beings, came to know that, hey, this is also ultimately a thought. I think Ramana Maharshi has said that body is also, after all, a thought only, ultimately. We can experience it right now, whether it is a thought or not. But are you thinking about it? Don't think about it.
Yeah. I don't see it as clearly as as you can, yeah. But I did get a sense that it can be a thought, but it's not my thought.
How nice, how clear. So please tell me if the things that you shared with me, if all of them are covered, or if anything left to be explored, we can. It's very nice to explore actually.
No, I have nothing left to explore, Gravita. The view that you've given is, I think, and will cover. I don't need to go back and dissect it. Yeah, I'm sure that if I
Oh,
required, then it is covered completely. Yeah, so it's
thank you. How
100% fine. Yeah, thank you.
nice. How nice. Actually, the primary focus of awakening is to get out of mind. What we call get out of mind. What it means is that, and how we can get out of mind also, no? We must understand. What it means to be in the mind also, we must understand. The self is never in the mind as such. It is the mind which is in the self. No? But self is called to be trapped in the mind because it is using thought for everything. Meaning it is seeing everything through thought. That is what it means to be in the mind. No? That's why the core meditation helps here, to get out of that way of looking at everything into our original way of being, then original way of seeing also. No? The real, from the true state of being, we can have true seeing also. We do have true seeing, true knowing also of everything. So what it means is that when we are in the mind, we are living in a world which we ourselves have created in a way, not the world which really exists, the existence. No? And in this way, we have never met the reality of life actually. This is what it means that we live in a matrix. We live through a matrix. No? And it is not that thought itself is a problem, or it is good or bad. It is not good or bad in itself. Using anything excessively, that is the thing. No? That's why when we sit quietly inside ourselves in the non-doer, non-thinker state, and then we come out of it, we are a better thinker after that. Better thinker means what? Who is a better thinker? Who is able to think what it wants to think? No? Mostly we are not really able to think what we want to think. We are not able to focus on the subject which we want to think, or we start thinking everything else. No? So that's how we become a more integrated, stable thinker, through living in the non-thinking state of being, or into the true state of being. A true thinker, a stable thinker does think the thoughts it wants to think, or focus on the subject it wants to think. A unstable thinker does not think thoughts. Thoughts think the thinker. No? Thoughts use the thinker. No? Any thought that comes inside, oh, it's my thought, I have to think. No, you don't have to think any thought that comes inside you. Do you have to think the thought that comes inside you? Or you decide the subject and then thoughts come inside you? Which version? It's generally the first version. And we are just not aware that the thoughts which come inside us are deciding what I will think right now. But thoughts can be injected. There are scientific ways to change our thoughts chemically also, like, from outside or climate, temperature, many things can change and thoughts change also based on that. That's a very unreliable way of living life. No? It's not a stable way. I'm just sharing, Nishant, in continuation with what we were exploring. Please talk anything, or anyone else, please talk also.
Can I add a few things more? This is also validation that I'm seeing things the right way. That's why I'm asking or talking a little bit more. Yeah. So when we are at a point where we've slipped out of the mind and we are, let's say I've slipped out of the mind, here is it still possible that thoughts can be injected, or the random thoughts which are around are
Can you
visible
say
to
again
us?
that we are in the true state of our being, out
Yeah,
of the mind,
out of the
and during
mind.
this time, can
Yeah,
thoughts be injected from outside?
yeah. Injected from outside, or uh, when we are in the mind, there are these floating thoughts in which we just attach ourselves, no? But when you're out of the mind, see, this is also, first time I'm having clarity like this with you right now. I'm having that more clarity now, yeah? So that's why I'm asking, is it still possible that the being will get attached to these floating thoughts?
Generally, it's not possible
Not
because
possible,
the
yeah.
being now knows what it wants to do right now, and it wants to think about pineapple, and thoughts are about aeroplane. It's not going to match, no. It is just that when the thinker, the being is sleeping, it does not really know what it wants in this moment, like how it want to flow, what it want to live, no. Then whatever thought comes, it feels, okay, this is what I want to live. I think I'm thinking it is so intimate. It has to be my thought, no. It doesn't doubt, it doesn't question, it doesn't bring awareness to it, no. And that's why it is never happy. It is doing so many things, trying to live so much, but the heart remains, you know, unfulfilled, no? Empty. Empty negative sense, like not fulfilled, no? Like I'm not feeling contented, living so many things, doing so many things. Because what the being want to do or want to live and what it is living is not matching. Like we were talking, like being is very thirsty and it is eating more food than necessary so that it can compensate for the thirst also. It's just going to make the thirst worse. It's not going to help anything, no? in this way, So being very clearly knows here. But I'm not talking about just once you slip out of yourself into yourself and then get back to the mind. I'm not talking about that state. When we get established in ourselves, for on a regular basis we are sitting in our being, out of the mind or out of thinking model, then our wisdom wakes up naturally. That, hey, I have another option of deciding things, looking at life or analyzing life or thinking about life, decision making. I have my own wisdom. I don't need to depend on this model of thought comes and I have to think about it. Nishant, this is where we create our thoughts first time. Like we contribute to life actually in one way. It's a very original thought. Even if about something like, oh, let's have a chai. It has such a freshness. The vibration is so fresh. And that's why we feel so fresh in the mind also. Like, very pure and fresh. Like, oh, very light and alive. Not like burden, not like tiredness, not like, you know, old or smelly or. So yes, it is not possible. There's a big difference, like a huge difference between what you are thinking and the thoughts. They are just so different. You cannot, we cannot make a mistake that, oh, they are my thoughts. There's only one possibility, that when we forget ourselves. When we forget ourselves, we again get hooked into that old model of being, the false self state. There, that time the thoughts appeal, the thoughts which come, oh my God, it's true, I should do this. And then when you get disillusioned again into yourself, you feel, why I was so interested in these thoughts. You, do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, beloved, makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There is a clear understanding. But you're about to say something?
No, no.
No,
I
yeah.
think it's very, very good.
Yeah, I think I can see, I can, there's a clear understanding that there is an opportunity, or based on the need, the mind can be, from generally it's at zero speed. But when there is a posture that you want to, when the being wants to react in a certain way, for example, we are living life normally, and now there's a choice being made that we want to stay within the realms of accepted, what is accepted in society, for example. So when the posture is there while interacting with the world, then the mind is used as necessary. And when it is done, it again goes back to zero speed.
There are two aspects of the mind. One is the expression aspect of the mind. One is the wisdom aspect of the mind. No, many aspects, but just for now we are dividing them into two. One is the expression aspect, which is holding the reflexes and the way to speak, the tone and everything. No, like training. Another aspect is which monitors, like what we call vivek in a way, which monitors the intelligence that okay, everything is going well or not when we are talking, expressing ourselves in the world. And both these aspects go through a maintenance continuously, especially at night, for example. They keep maintaining, refining itself continuously. So that refinement continues. So it is not the mind goes to silence after thinking. It is the thinker goes to silence, to its own silence, and rejoices in its own silence. Now, something is moving inside the energy in the of the body mind is not seen as a thinking process or anything. Energy is seen as the thinking or thoughts only to the thinker that we become when we need to think. When we slip out of being the thinker, there is no thinking going on. There is only energy. Do you see my point? It's a whole energy which has many aspects, but they are not like seen by us as separate aspects, like one thing. But generally, we don't slip out of being a thinker like almost ever. That's why we don't taste this ever, also, what I'm sharing. In core meditation, we taste it first time. What we call no mind state is not really no mind state, it's a no thinker state. No? Mind is very much there, maintaining these energies are being corrected. No? But there is no thinker to attend them. The being is just present, rejoicing in its own silence, truth, and awareness. Yeah, and Nishant, here you will discover one very amazing thing. You mentioned something similar, so I would like to share also my part that you will discover something here that in the silence of your own being, there is a thought called I am, and you will know it is not my thought, and you will know it is persistently there. You will be surprised, like whose thought it is, because I am the silence now. I'm the existence. Neither I am personal, nor individual, nor non-individual, nor universal. I am just existence in the silence of being. And still there is a thought always there, I am. This is the gift of Supreme Self to the individual body. This is the thought of the Supreme Self actually, I am. But the individual mind also can think, I am. But that's not the thought I'm talking about right now. What we call sense of existence is that thought. This sense of existence, no, that I exist, is that primal thought. It is not your thought, Nishant. It is the thought of the Supreme Self, the sense of existence. It's so close actually, so simply available, present. Only we need to be in the silence of our own being for sufficient time. or sufficient degree, maybe, not time. Now body is body, breath is breath, energy is energy. It is not called thought, feeling or anything else now. It is just one thing. And there is a sense of existence. And there is something else also, that which is witnessing the sense of existence. That which is witnessing the sense of existence and the body and the breath also. What is that which is witnessing the sense of existence and body and breath? What is that? And we can ask also that, you can ask that who I am here, where I am placed. I would request, don't choose anything, because you will settle with much less than you can have. This is why it is called grace of the source. It's a gift. If we choose, we always settle with much less than we can have. Let's not choose anything here. And the complete truth is open, present, and the one who should live this truth is living this truth already. And that which does not exist is not here now. The illusion of the separate self is not here now. But that which exists is here. You are that. And that's why I call you beloved. That which you are truly, that is my beloved. I am the devotee of that Supreme Being, which is in you, which you are. In the beginning and in the end, when I bow down to this Supreme Being that you are essentially, which you are right now. And I cannot really explain my love and devotion for this Supreme Being, why it is like this. It's just like this. It is not happening from within the thinking. It is being lived from beyond thinking. Thank you. Very, very nice. How amazing is this, no? We all are so much in sync with each other right now in a way, or also so blessed in a way. No, let's never forget that source which is showering its blessings, its grace, its love on all of us all the time. Let us not be arrogant to forget the source, our source. But let us also not be so shy to not live the blessing, the grace also. Let's not be so shy that, oh, I am so bad. Why should I live? How can I live? No, we can. We all are eligible to live the grace of God. In fact, through that only we will become free. We will become free from being someone into being without being anything or anyone. And this truth is right now true in all of us. Being without being anything or anyone. When I'm living this, speaking these words, I'm living this truth also with you, beloved. And I'm calling you also, live this truth right now. You are this being without being anything or anyone. It's supreme joy, supreme bliss is here in this living of your own being. How nice. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing, amazing it is. Thank you. Whenever, wherever the being is becoming free, no? Being of life is becoming free, no? Its taste is bliss, no? Its taste is pure, pure, pure joy. Pure, pure is important. Pure like fresh, like like something which has not happened before. There is such a freshness of joy here, no? Because because of this, sometimes we may think that it is something else. But the freshness everybody can notice, no? In one sense, we can say that when the light of truth is growing inside us, no, then we start appreciating the truth of who we are more and more. When there is a light of truth enough inside us, there is no one left inside us to do anything or given anything to do. There is only one complete truth. In every gesture, in every move, in every action, in every doing, it is absolutely always truth. Its doings are truth, the doer is truth, thinking is truth, thinker is truth, thoughts are truth, body is truth, breath is truth, only truth, nothing else. So life itself is not truth or false. It is the one who is living it, declaring, no? When you, the one who is living, is truth. Everything that you live is truth. It is your touch that makes things true, no? Or alive. No? Your body is only as alive as you are loving it, no? From inside, you the self, no? Yes.
Thank you so much, Ji. I was just struggling to find the home. Like, I'm feeling like I'm very far from home, and where is home? Like, feeling like restless, and then suddenly I connect, and I feel like just feeling so blessed now. It's feeling like really I'm coming back. I find the way. Thank you so
The more we are connected to the thought processes and what we can call collectively mind, the more we are connected to the mind, the more we feel like options are there to be explored and journeys have to be completed and states have to be changed and so on. And I'm not saying that we should not change the states or we should not do the journeys. That's not what I'm saying. But the more we detach ourselves from thought processes or collectively known as mind, the more somehow we start sensing the truth of who we are. And we start sensing that I don't have to go anywhere. I am supremely joyful here or the way I am, who I am, even without knowing who I am. So the bliss is an internal experience when we live ourselves. It's not something that we have to verify with by somebody that, oh yeah, is it bliss? Or is it joy? Or is it something else? If somebody thinks about these things, they are definitely not in bliss right now. Those who are in bliss, they don't think about these things. Because it is so absorbing, it is so powerful, so joyful. You know? So nobody has to be told that when we are home, because the feeling of being home comes only when we are at home or not. Nobody can try to feel, oh yeah, I'm trying my best and I have succeeded. I'm feeling at home. We can make effort of trying to feel at home when we are not at home. No, like to make our stay comfortable there. Still, it is not home, but we can feel more certain comfort by feeling that okay, still this is also home. But when we are really home, we don't have to do anything, think anything, feel anything. The very staying, being at home, tells us in every way. You know, that's why being in ourselves, being at home, comfortable with ourselves, is so different than whatever we have thought about it. That's why whenever our imagination matches with what we have found inside us, let's be alert about it. Only when we are supremely joyful, but our imaginations are not matching with it. That's a good starting point, I feel. Like, I don't understand why I'm supremely blissful. You know, I don't understand what I am. I don't understand anything. But I'm so peaceful, so joyful, so complete. And I don't feel like I mind that I don't know anything. I'm fine. I have known so much, and I was not feeling that peaceful, joyful, which I'm feeling now, without knowing anything. In the beginning, it is not really so clear to us what is happening to us. We have just fallen out of mind, out of that model of thinking, or living life through every thinking, through thought, no? Into the way of being, no? My experience or my expression of that was that there is something called knowledge, you know, and there is something called knowing. Knowing is more alive. Alive means right now knowing, not like known and going to know. No, not like something in continuation, but something in the moment. No. And the being enjoys the bliss for some time. And then its eyes start opening up by itself. Like its wisdom starts opening up by itself. No? And the true knowing begins by itself. It just happens. It just keeps happening by itself. Things start becoming clear by itself. And more and more and more every day. And of course without any effort. Like you can sleep like a baby at night. You can play like a baby in the whole day. Play means like do everything of the word. No sadhana, nothing. I think it's been good, no? Thank you. Or if something is not something you would like to say.
It is very good and very, like, now I'm feeling like now also I'm not understanding anything, but I am feeling blissed. Before I was like, where to go, like, you know, like, and finding like this, like, so, and it's good thing is like still I am not, now I am also like part of understanding. I'm not understanding now also, but now I'm happy and blissful. That is the big difference. Feeling home and homesick. That's the difference.
Yeah. In Zen, they say that when the shoe fits, what it means. Before that, there was a certain discomfort inside us continuously. and that discomfort suddenly disappeared. Either that discomfort was of not wearing the shoe, our the stones hitting the, the, the foot, or the discomfort of wearing the shoe, and both are not there now. Like something became complete, perfect. I'm holding this moment in this for some time, for some reason, so that we can stay here. Because very quickly we go out of it. Into where? Where we go out of it? There we have a lot of investment in the other model. So who lives in the mind is not different than who is living here right now. But the experience of life is different. Very, very different. So our wisdom of the non-thinker, of the being has not woken up yet here. So that's why we cannot understand. But we understand sufficiently that it is a perfect place to be. For those who have done their journey in a way, or done enough seeking. Like most of us don't really know what is thirst, what is water, and why I feel happy when I drink water when I'm thirsty. Most of us don't know, isn't it? And still we are able to find, I'm talking about normal water, normal thirst of the body, and still we are able to appreciate the thirst, know that this is the time that I should know, I should get water, and we drink the water and we feel happy also. So we don't need to know anything to be happy in this water and thirst. In the similar way, actually we are thirsty of who we are. We want to live who we are and not able to. When we are able to, we are happy. We feel like something like thirst is quenched, contentment is felt. Not that we understand what it is. But have our great understandings brought any peace, any happiness, true happiness inside us? This happiness is like a fragrance of incense stick or something, no? It's very light, but very deep. Very light, like the taste is very light, like it's not so strong smell, but it's so deep, so true. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why a usual habit or way of approaching it will not work here. Value is needed for it. And the value comes from where? It comes from all that effort that we make, all the journeys that we do, all the seeking that we do also. From there, the value comes for it. When we don't find this there, then when we come here and live it, we feel like, wow, this is what I was searching for. Yeah, yes, or not. I mean, I'm just sharing things as they feel to me in this moment. Please, everyone, make sure that it is understood well by you. If some confusion, please talk also. No, like this. Yeah. So we are good.
Yes, Ji, it is so true, and I'm just uh, walking with you also, so I'm just enjoying this whole moment.
Yes. What do we do through thinking, by the way, when we are seeking this joy, this bliss, this truth, there in the mind or through the mind? We are seeking this truth through the mind in the word that is seen through the mind, which actually never exists anywhere. It's a word created of thoughts, our thoughts only, personal thought. But there, as long as we have a hope from that seeking, as long as we have not completed that seeking, no, we will not feel settled here. We will feel like something is still there, something, you know, like something more shining, something more like gold. This is kind of more silver type, white color. It's not yellow color yet. No. So it's not that this truth where we have come right now is not complete, that it is not ultimate. It is ultimate truth where we have come, or what we are living right now is supreme being has blessed us or blessing us right now. It is just that we have not completed our course yet. Those who have completed their course in a way in the mind, not that we have to seek to complete that course, we just can be more conscious of our seekings, or we can be more conscious when seeking also, meaning we can be more conscious when thinking about truth, trying to understand, and so that it can be more refined thinking. And then we see that, like you will wake up at the mind level at some point as we will become more conscious in thinking, that how I can know the truth of who I am by thinking about myself in the mind. You will just, it's like a shock. We wake up like, what is this? Because mind is something happening in front of me. I am something in front of it. How this, what is happening in front of me, can tell me who I am, who is in front of it, the seer of it, the awareness of it. No? The knowledge of who I am has to happen within myself only, no? And that also can help. So every soul has sort of a hope from the seeking. And the ways of the soul are very, very unique, I feel, very, very individual also. Nobody can really directly help from outside. My sharings are only sharing. They are not any advice or trying to help you or anything. But you can take anything from here which suits you or which you feel will help you. And like this you will be able to help yourself in the way you want to help yourself, in the journey on which you are, on the path on which you are also. No? So thank you. So where we have come right now is not a special place, or it's not a special day or time also. It is the same truth where we come every day, every satsang, every Saturday also. It's just that our maturity of our mind or our being is growing, then we see that there is nothing there. That is the desert. Like as long as we are able to, the more it becomes clear to us that is desert. This small oasis looks priceless. That great expansion of dead desert looks nothing compared to it. No? And if we get absorbed here in this small oasis of our own existence, after some time when we open our eyes to look at that desert, that's not there anymore. That's just gone. It's not there. In place of that, the real life is there now. That existence which really exists. Something else in place of the word starts appearing. No? Something else, not the word. Something else. Thank you. Karuna, you want to talk?
Hello, Rajee.
Hello, hello.
Sometimes, like the truth in your sharings comes so strongly and uncompromisingly, so clear that even the resistance that I might have, I can see that nothing can resist to love. Really, love is stronger. Like when it really comes in full power, like not shy, not. Sometimes you also speak like gentle, but sometimes it just comes so uncompromising. Like the whole group elevates immediately like that, and then I feel like wow, it's like. Nothing can resist love. I mean, love is much stronger than all of this. Feels so good. I mean, glory to this. This is what I wanted to say.
Yes.
Say.
Thank you, beloved. It's is that you are so present or clear, you know, like all the failures on the path of seeking, no, have grown like a wisdom now. Like we have become clear now more and more that what truth is not. And that has become our sensitivity, our thirst, and our wisdom towards what truth is. No? Because when it is shared, like somehow as if we are able to ignore everything for the time being. No? Even a great seeker who is involved in thinking and everything continuously, when has enough maturity, then when truth is being shared, it is able to put aside everything. Like this is not the time for thinking or this and that. Thank you, beloved. It's your maturity also. Because those who are thirsty for truth, I feel the source serves truth. Those who want to seek truth, the source serves some techniques, some understandings, like where to find. One time somebody asked Osho that is the thought that I am not enlightened only thing in the way of being enlightened? He said yes. You know, that's the thing, no? So, because of the long journey, long life that we have lived, the memory of it, the experience of it, the good and bad experience of it, no? Mostly the bad experiences, like failures. It is evidence that no, I'm not the self. What are you saying? How can I be the self? And as you said, my this love sometime comes so strongly that I have to say the truth to you. And the thing is, this is that catch-22 now. Unless you start living as yourself, your life story will remain same or similar. No, it will only change when you know that who you are. Like we are living as someone who is seeking for joy and love from others continuously. However, we are ourselves. Yeah, Karuna, I was wondering actually during this time when we were before the meeting, there was some delay. During this time, I was wondering that what we are made of is the bliss. We are made of the bliss. How possibly we can miss living this blissfulness that we are? Like there must be lot of effort and lot of smart effort in a way, like very intelligent effort we must be making. We means the self must be making to not be able to live the blissfulness that we are. Being aware basically is not being aware only of who we are. Being aware also being aware of the effort that we are making to miss the truth of who we are and missing the bliss that we are also. And so that we stop making that effort. No? Because truth of who we are is the case already and always. Whether we are doing something, whether we are moving our body, not moving our body, like in the vertical, body is in vertical position or in the horizontal, no difference. So we are caught up in a state of doing where we believe that my doings are bringing the results in my life, in terms of happiness. And here we have a challenge to learn what to do to get to the true happiness or bliss of my being. And I feel that core meditation is like a middle ground where we learn to do something, but which is not really a usual doing. It's a different kind of thing. And slowly we can learn. And obviously it's a very difficult topic. Like, we cannot accept that, what are you saying, that I'm made of bliss? Then why don't I feel it? Both are true actually. We are made of bliss. My version is also true. And also we are not feeling bliss. It is true. I accept it. So there's a way. There's a way out of it actually. But the way is not through doings. Because doing only promotes and strengthens the false way of being. It is non-doing. Or at the max seeing, being aware, watching, without attachment. Here we can understand detachment. What is detachment? Detachment is not from the true life. Detachment is from the life that we imagine exists. So basically detachment from our thoughts only, no? Not from anything else, no? Our physical body cannot survive if we get detached from it, no? For example. So it needs attachment, meaning it needs life. We are life. We give life to it, to the body, by being in the body, by embracing it. Attaching means what? Embracing, no? But our attachment to thinking is the only thing that need to be given up in a way by being aware. So attachment to mind, only one thing. Nothing else really need to be changed upfront in order to come to the truth of who we are. But that's kind of a difficult thing. I understand that. Thank you, beloved Karuna. Very nice to meet you and to live this time truth together with you. Thank you. Anna, you want to talk?
Namaste, Rajee.
Namaste.
I just wanted to say the body is so tired because I work a lot and I don't sleep enough, late shifts, but life is so alive that I'm just melting in your love, and thank you for this, for these generous opportunities to meet like this, and where I can like let go even the organizational and just like have a group collective enjoyment of of this bliss. Thank you.
Actually, this is like a something like a offer, like a like a candy that I feel the source is offering us, no? Because once we develop taste for this bliss, we will ask for more, no? And there's only one way to get more bliss, that is living our own truth, returning home. It's only one way. So it is like source is trying to spoil us in a way here, for a good reason, no? Because it want to. It's like when the mother has to bring the children home, no, who are playing on the beach continuously or on the street, no, how to do that, no? This is how it does, no? It gives them nice cookies. If you want more at home, they are available at home. Come back. And at some point, the taste of the cookies become more tasty and joyful than the joy of playing, no? Something like this. I'm sure this is not exact, accurate expression, or no expressions are accurate in the direction of ultimate truth, but just joyfully trying to indicate in some way or express how I feel right now. What it means to feel ourselves, to live ourselves. It is eating those cookies, no? which we are, which are available only at home. So living the bliss of who we are is a way to remain home also. No? What a amazing way of Source has found. Like what a blissful way of keeping us home. And what a simple experiential way of indicating that we are not home, that we start suffering. Suffering is not really that something is absent in my life, that I don't have food, or that is necessity. That's not suffering. That's a need, no? Suffering is that there are things, but somehow life is kind of not happy. Life is not complete. Something is kind of missing. No? And as you said, that when that missing thing is here right now, even if body is tired, it's still amazing. Not that tiredness has disappeared. Still maybe rest will be required at the level where pain is happening, or tiredness is there in the body. It is like blissfully tired. Blissful and tired at the body level versus only tired at the body level. Seeking for the bliss and tired at the body level versus blissful and tired at the body level. They are two different states of our being and experience of life, of truth also. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you for accepting my love. Because I know it takes a lot of courage to open our window for the sunlight and for the rain. I have this feeling that we can still continue for another 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So if anybody want to talk also, we can talk. Or we can just sit like this. Yeah, Uma.
Pranam. Thank you, Ji. So beautiful sharings we are receiving from you. And one pointer I received very much deeply, and it feels like uh, a marker in deeper place, which you in one conversation with the participant you share that in non-doing uh, uh, false self does not survive, only self remains.
Yes.
It feels so touched in my heart, so or also like a checkpoint.
Yes. False self is not a self somewhere. False self is a misunderstanding the true self that we are is having when living as itself in the body, or when doing anything in the body, through the body. So by remaining in the non-doing, meaning in the true state of being, it becomes clear to us that we are the being. Being without being anything, being without doing anything, being without seeing anything. We are naturally self-aware, and we exist without doing anything or being anything. And that's why it also becomes clear to us that, oh, I am not that doer which I think I am when I do things. Up to some degree, that part is removed from our misunderstanding, no? Wisdom, no? From our wisdom, that misunderstanding is removed up to some degree. Then when we do something now, which is not a do something in the sense of doer is doing something, it is like doing through the body mind when the being that we are is here, no? And we are not going in detail of it right now, again, that what happens and all. But now again, we are able to see that the doing is so much more integrated and joyful in a way, complete and harmonious in a way. But the sense of doer did not come again. The sense of being still remained. Sense of presence still remained. Like this, it becomes clear to us. Because the biggest thing about us, remaining in the ego state, the false self state, is that doing, living life. Once we are able to port that doing or living life to the pure being that we are, then the ego has nothing to offer to us. Ego state means false state has nothing to offer to us anymore. Then why we would go in that false self state where we suffer only? No. Yes. So it's good. And there are many states that we experience in between, no? When we are getting home or coming to ourselves. What are those states? In one sense, they are like a taste of the being that who we are. We have started tasting that, plus the taste of the word or the truth, life that we experience through the mind. Like a mix of these two things is what we experience, no? And it changes. The ratio is changing. The effect or the experience through the mind is reducing, let's say, or the experience of the being is increasing, and that cocktail, that mixed experience is what produces a different experience that we experience, no, at any point of time. That's why experiences are not trustworthy here, right now, until we come to ourselves. No? Knowing of who we are in a way, or recognition of who we are, is more important, or stable ground to hold on to. No? Yes. Because today we will feel like, wow, I am the universal being. And then tomorrow we will feel, oh my God, I am such a nasty person. These are just two things being experienced by the self that we are. The experiencer is important here. Not whether we feel I am a universal being or whether we feel I am a nasty person. I hope nasty is not a too strong word. I meant like we feel sometimes, no? We feel sense of guilt and many things, like guilty pleasure, when we are eating too much chocolate, for example. In that way, I'm saying. At night, you go to the fridge and eat a lot of chocolate. That, oh, I'm not a good person. Whole day I keep talking about healthy food and health and everything. That way, I'm saying, no? And at night, suddenly, all those philosophies that life is temporary, I'm going to leave the body anyway, one day, all those thoughts suddenly pop up and, okay, let's have chocolate. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Let's live in today's. All those thoughts, philosophies come, no? Inside when the chocolate is in front. It's very good that it is understood. Because the more it becomes clear to us, the more it becomes simple and possible to us to sit quietly in ourselves. Understanding is very important. Because we cannot force ourselves, no, to sit quietly as ourselves. No? We can try, but we will just feel sleepy. No? Why we feel sleepy? Because we are forcing ourselves to sit quietly and do nothing. This is such an excitement to sit and do nothing. Where is place for sleep here? It is because we are forcing ourselves. Let's not force ourselves to sit quietly and do nothing. I think very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I also have very deep contentment in my heart today, that the truth being lived, truth being shared and being understood and lived also. Again, I cannot explain really why I am so happy when you are able to live truth. I cannot explain in words, no? But I am very, very happy when you are able to live truth. Meaning, even if you don't say this to me verbally, it is felt in the satsang, no? It just felt. It's just so amazing, actually. There's one thing very amazing about the truth that we are, the being that we are, is that the being that we are is not really lacking something. There is nothing lacking in the being. Like in the ego state, we feel that, oh, something is lacking in me and that has to be filled or completed by finding out who I am or living the truth of who I am. No, that's not true. The being that we are is already complete. Knowing who we are and living who we are is not really completing ourselves. No, we are already complete. It is about expressing ourselves now, expanding as who we are now into a bigger and magnificent, beautiful life. Do you see what I'm saying? So nothing is lacking in the being ever at any point of time. It just wants to express itself more, like expand itself as itself now. That is what we call blossoming of the soul. So that's a incorrect way of looking at it, that something is less in the self, in the being, which will be completed by knowing who I am. No. The very starting point of the being is complete already. Already. This whole thing is to express itself, to open up, to blossom, no? Blossom that beauty that we are, no? Into the body, mind, and into this life also. You know what I mean? So body mind is so useful in this way, meaning body and breath is so useful in this way. It is so that we can live as ourselves, as that beauty, that truth that we are. And body and breath will be so blessed by our light, our truth. Thank you. So I think this is a very good time. I very, very deeply feel, touched by your presence in this meeting, and together we lived so beautifully this truth. Again, I want to, to share my gratitude to my beloved, to my Guru, to the Lord, for their blessing, for their grace. Because within this limited self, there is no power that we can really ourselves know anything of this level about the truth. It is only that deep thirst inside us, answered as the grace of the beloved, that we feel such fulfillment. Thank you, beloved, for your grace, for your love. Thank you for answering